going and all of that stuff. So, hey, my name is Chuck Hansen. I'll be your co-host along with my buddy Michael Stern, who's out in Arizona. And here we are on Monday, March the 7th, as we move right through 2022. I mean, it's amazing how quickly time goes by. This evening, what I want to share with you is some things that I had been thinking about. Obviously, we're going to talk about IHub.global. Obviously, if you're brand new and you don't know anything about IHub, you're going to know a lot about it by the time we finish. If you don't know anything about Helium and what's happening with that company, you will by the time we finish. So just stay tuned. We've got a lot of information to share. And so with that, what I'll do is get things going. So had an interesting, I'll tell you about that on the backside. So, like I said before, my name is Chuck Hansen. We're going to talk about a company called IHub.global, but more importantly, we're going to talk about some things and how people achieve success. And, it might not be the way that you've thought about people achieving success. In fact, I'm going to share a story with you that may or may not make any sense, right? If you're ready for the information, it's going to make all the difference and make all the sense in the world. And if you're not, then it won't. It's pretty simple. So what I entitled this thing, this little section, is called Look for Waves. And like I said, our culture, the way we have been brought up, is obsessed with people that are very, very successful. There's all kinds of different terminologies that we always use. We always use, boy, you were so lucky, right? You must be a real genius. You are so gifted, and on and on and on. All those adjectives to describe somebody that's achieved success. And when in reality, it's very seldom any of those things. I wrote in here, there's a lot of people that intimidate, right? That imitate other people's success, hoping that some of that greatness is going to rub off on them, which never does really work. What this whole thing is, it's about catching a wave, right? It's about, and we hear it all the time, being at the right place at the right time, but more importantly, being able to identify the fact that you're at that right place at the right time, and then take action and do something with that information. Here's a little list of people. Now, I could have gone on and put all kinds of other people down here, but these are just some of them that kind of came to mind. Henry Ford, he didn't invent the automobile, but he rode the assembly line wave, right? He created that assembly line. Mary Kay Ash, which started Mary Kay Cosmetics, right? Didn't invent cosmetics, but she rode that direct sales wave and all of the things that she did with her business and all of those women. Andrew Carnegie, he didn't invent steel, but he rode that wave of building and creating and doing all of those things. And it just goes on and on and on as far as different waves that have taken place. Now, it says, my point is that business success isn't dependent upon one person's possessing the Midas touch, right? Instead, these achievements tend to go to those who harness some trend, force, or movement and rode that wave of success to some amazing numbers. You know, today I had a conversation with a good friend of mine who he works for, and this gentleman, I won't mention his name right now because I don't have permission, but he rode the wave of selling mail order and then on building stores, and he's now worth over $5 billion, right? So he just caught a wave. And like I said, you know, the people that I just mentioned were brilliant, but not because they possess some magical gift that you don't understand. Instead, their smarts were in noticing an opportunity and having the wherewithal, right? There's that word, right? The wherewithal to act upon it. If these people wouldn't have acted, somebody else would have filled their spot, right? It always happens that way. The principle is so simple and shouldn't need to be stated. Nevertheless, many hoping to achieve success as an entrepreneur talk more about what they didn't do, right, than looking for ways to catch the next wave. We all talk about, you know, the wave that we missed, like the Bitcoin wave, right? I was involved in the Bitcoin wave way back, actually before it actually became a little curl. It wasn't a wave. It was just, it wasn't even noticeable. And that's the reason I saw it, didn't understand it, and then got out too early before the wave actually formed. And as a result, didn't make the kind of money that so many other people did that waited until the wave was more mature. So again, it's all about timing, right? Mobile was a wave, right? Mobile was a wave that some people got in on in 2005, right as that wave was starting to pick up. Cryptocurrency was a wave that started, you know, just a couple of years ago, and really is just now starting to get even more pronounced. And the Internet of Things is a wave that's happening right now. So, and these are just a few examples. I could go down and put on all kinds of different examples. Waves don't end, right? Just like the ocean, waves don't end. And I live right on the beach over here on the Atlantic Ocean. There might be lulls, right? But then there's always another one on its way. You just need to be mindful enough to notice and get in the water when the time is right, right? We always talk about it's timing, timing, timing. I don't know if any of you surf, but you know, sometimes you sit out there for a long time waiting for the right wave, and then all of a sudden it comes along. And some people grab it, some people miss it. But the key to making money is knowing in advance that something big is going to happen. I'm sure everybody would agree with that. The screen on the left was the first screenshot that I took of the Helium Network. Right, as you see, there were 6,988 hotspots. Now, I didn't know what was going on, and for those of you that don't know what a hotspot is, you're going to learn all about it here in a second. I didn't understand what was going on. Michael Stern came to me and he asked me if I had ever heard of helium. I thought he was talking about the gas, and I said, you know, kind of laughingly, and jokingly, yeah, sure, of course, I've heard of helium, but it wasn't the gas, it was the company. And then he said, had you ever heard of a hotspot? And I said, well, you know, Starbucks and McDonald's have got a hotspot. And he said, no, not Wi-Fi like that, but a different kind of Wi-Fi. And so that's what kind of intrigued me but this is when we first started looking at it. I took this screenshot today, and as you see, There's now 626,130 hotspots around the globe, but it still is, that wave really hasn't really started yet. I mean, it's kind of started, but it's not swelling, right? But it's about to. Let me play this very short video. It's just a few minutes, and it'll kind of give you an idea of what Helium is, what we're doing, and why you should pay attention to what it is IHub Global is doing. So let me click this.
What is Helium? To answer that, let's first talk about IoT, or the Internet of Things. It is expected that in the next 5 years, 75 billion devices, or things, will need some way in which to wirelessly connect to the Internet. Right now, connecting these things to the Internet is tricky. It's either too expensive to afford cellular data plans or too power prohibitive. What we need is a new network, one where we can change the rules. That's where Helium comes in. Helium's long-range wireless technology and secure blockchain can build the ultimate network. And the best part is, actually, it's built and owned by you. How do I build a network? Building the People's Network is easy. Simply get a Helium hotspot or build your own using open-source software and off-the-shelf hardware. Hotspots supply a low-bandwidth internet connection over miles of range to thousands of devices using a wireless technology called Long-Fi. In exchange for building the network and providing connectivity as a service, hotspots mine HNT, a new cryptocurrency on the Helium blockchain. Unlike other networks, the People's Network is paving the way to build wireless networks of the future by putting ownership in your hands, while improving coverage and affordability for a new class of devices. Similar to other sharing economies such as Airbnb, the Helium blockchain enables a two-sided market and flips the traditional telecom model on its head. On the supply side, hotspot owners are incentivized to deploy a global wireless network, the People's Network, and provide connectivity in exchange for earning HNT. On the demand side, businesses and developers benefit from the People's Network with affordable and ubiquitous connectivity for their IoT devices. From scooter and pet tracking to environmental sensing and crucial healthcare monitoring solutions, a new class of devices finally have a way to connect over long ranges. Batteries can last years between charges, and costs are a magnitude cheaper than other cellular alternatives. Thanks to this unique incentive model, the People's Network is the wireless network that we've all been waiting decades for. The People's Network uses two units of exchange: HNT, a new cryptocurrency, and data credits. Hotspots earn HNT by transferring data from nearby devices. The more data transferred, the larger the reward. Hotspots also earn HNT by simply building the network and participating in Proof of Coverage. Proof of Coverage, POC, is a novel work algorithm that autonomously verifies all hotspots are real and located where they say they are. In order to send data over the network, devices must use data credits. Fixed in value, data credits are created by burning HNT, reducing the total supply to achieve a burn and mint equilibrium.
So guys, so that is, in less than 4 minutes, exactly what Helium has been in the process of setting up since 2013. Yeah, 2013. So it's, when we first saw this, less than 7,000, now over 600,000 of these hotspots, and we are incentivized, instead of using the telecom model to build this global, and that's what we're doing, we're building a global wireless peer-to-peer network. And instead of using the telco model and going out and building towers, they incentivized all of us with a cryptocurrency called Helium, or HNT. And, you know, what I want to show you is the ranking and market dominance. And why do I want to make that point? I want to make that point because very few people know about this, right? It's not like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is more mainstream. Helium is less than 2% market dominance. So it's just getting around and starting. And I'm going to show you why that's going to make a huge difference in your life if you pay attention. Here's what's going to happen. And I've been talking about it, but I wanted to bring it more mainstream. I wanted to bring it into the presentation a little while back. It was November the 20th, 2021. A vote took place, and that's when the vote closed. And Helium put this vote out to the community, all of us who hold Helium, and they said, how would you like to vote on a 1,000-to-1 split? And as you can see the results there, 3/4 of the people said yes, and 1/4 of the people said no. So it was adopted, and it's in the process of being implemented, right? It was going to be implemented in February, and if it had been, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But that implementation got a little bit more complicated than what they thought, and so that's been moved out to our benefit. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that. Now, what does that mean to us? Redenomination. It's described as a change in the face value. So let's take a look at it. Right now, Helium's been bouncing around down from a high of $55 last November, down about 60% right now, to bounce between $20 and $30. And this little example, I said $30, right? So if you had a $30 Helium token, and tonight the split took place, you'd now have 1,000 Helium tokens at 3 cents. Right? So no change. I mean, you still have the same value. You had $30, right, in one Helium token. Now you've got $30, except you've got 1,000 Helium tokens at 3 cents. However, it makes a huge difference for the millions of potential, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people that might be attracted at looking at Helium. See, here's the other example. Let's say that you're going to buy some Helium. You got $120. At the current rate, $30, you'd be able to buy 4 Helium, right? It's kind of like buying Bitcoin. You buy a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a Bitcoin, right? In the old days, you were able to throw $10 on the table and buy more than 10. At 50 cents a piece. So they were worth nothing. So here's what happens: that $120 after the split, you'd have 4 HNT, and after the split, you'd have 4,000 HNT. Right, 1,000-to-1 split. You buy 120, you spend $120, you buy 4 Helium, you get 4 Helium, they split, you got 4,000. Now, why are they doing this? They're doing this to attract a lot of people into the marketplace. You see, a lot more people will be interested at 3 cents as opposed to $30, right? The information and that I've looked at, other companies using this exact same formula, they've seen their token or their cryptocurrency move from pennies to $1 like a rocket. Now, don't know if that's going to happen. got an idea that it could. Certainly not giving you any financial advice, but I'm just relaying some information. If you had those 4,000 helium, that cost you $120, and it did do that, you can do the math. You know, they're worth $1 a piece, right? That's $4,000. So that $120 that you spent is now worth $4,000. So you've just now become the genius of your family. So that's what I want everybody to understand, is that this is only going to happen one time, right? For those of us that know about it in advance, there is the likelihood that we will make a considerable amount of money. I'd like you to be the recipient of that large reward. And it doesn't take a lot to get started. I'm going to cover that in just a second. I wanted to show you this last piece before we really started talking about IHub.global, was that, you know, where the Crypto Investor Network, I got that from the Crypto Investor Network, and it talks about this is the coin that, or the company, the company that could disrupt the wireless market. Now, what are they talking about? They're talking about the AT&Ts, the Verizons of the world, all the major cell service providers of the world, because what works on a global wireless network? Yeah, a cell phone, right? You've got one in your pocket or two. And so without the need for the multi-billion-dollar infrastructure, obviously the price will come down to fractions of a penny as opposed to what we're currently paying, and which is pretty cheap. But this is what they're saying. So again, it's something that is in the future, right? This is the video that I was intrigued with. It's a Helium produced video. Michael sent it to me and he says, here, this video will kind of explain everything. So I want you guys to watch it just like I did. So let me play this for you.
We've all used Wi-Fi for stuff like this.
So adorable.
And cellular data for stuff like this. Triaxolotl. Every day we connect to the internet, but it's not just people. From parking meters to packages, even these damn scooters. All these things should connect to the internet. Even this dog. Well, not the dog, but its collar. Seems like this little guy is lost. Luckily, he's got a smart collar on. But that smart collar isn't so smart without the internet. Cellular data plans can be pricey. It's not like Sean could just log into this cafe's Wi-Fi real quick.
Hey, I like your dog.
Oh, it's not my dog. I'm just using him to demonstrate a point.
What's your point?
Glad you asked. Wouldn't it make sense for all of these things to have their own internet? A network that works just for them, so they could always stay connected anywhere, anytime. That's the kind of future I want to live in. And guess what? We can. With the Helium hotspot.
Honey, who's that?
I'm the future.
It's, the future?
The Helium hotspot's a new kind of wireless device, where you and your community can create a network for the Internet of Things.
So like a Wi-Fi router?
No, it's long-fi. It reaches 200 times farther.
But why would
you put this in your house?
Glad you asked.
Well, you're helping to power a better future for the city you live in, building a community of connectivity, making all sorts of things possible that aren't today, like helping you find lost things, connecting to things that can tell you when your food's expired. That is expired. Even powering sensors that help detect wildfires, so people and their things can stay safe.
What else?
Isn't that enough? The whole thing about building a better future for your children and your children's children?
We don't have kids.
Well, For people who care about that sort of thing, you get rewarded Helium tokens, a cryptocurrency as a thank you for building the network and enabling devices to connect. So any more questions?
Yeah, whose dog is this?
Yep. See, when the Internet of Things gets better, everything gets better. Even finding your dog. This yours.
Sean, thank you. Come here, buddy. Oh, thank you.
With the Helium hotspot, you're helping to create a more connected future.
What's helium?
So glad you asked. Every day, we connect to the internet. But it's not just people. So what else connects to the internet?
I don't know.
I'm glad you asked.
I'm glad you asked, right? What else connects to the internet? You know, and that's the part that I really didn't understand. You know, Michael said, you know, we're building the next internet just for things. And I go, what kind of things? You know, what do you mean things? And I didn't understand that it was already a gigantic industry, right? That there were already billions and billions and billions of devices that were connecting to the internet. I just didn't, it just wasn't in my world. So I didn't pay any attention to it. I didn't also pay any attention to how big the industry was going to grow to, which got me excited. And that's why we did what we did. You know, we sat around, first Michael, then myself, and then I passed the information off to a good friend, Rick Cotton. And I said, Rick, take a look at this, see if it makes as much sense to you as it does to me. And, you know, when I saw this hotspot, it was like the holy grail of everything that I had been looking for the past 50 years. It was a machine that made money without anybody's involvement, without any ongoing fees that had to be paid. You just take it, put it in your home or office, and it sits there and makes helium cryptocurrency 24/7, you know, month in and month out, month in and month out. Now, granted, they used to make a lot more helium when there weren't as many hotspots on the network, but the price was of the helium was much lower. Now the price is got up to over $55 at one point back in November of 2021, and they make less. But you know, you'll understand that that's okay. It's all a plan, right? It was all planned out. This is a little recap. In April of 2021, we pre-launched IHub.global. We discovered that that we've got all the pieces almost put together, and so we were going to move into a pre-launch. And then in November the 6th in Las Vegas, we did our launch event at Eric Worre's studio in Las Vegas. We had 250 of our leaders there, and this little video is from that event.
IHub, this is Houston. You are go for staging. Stand by. 3. System. Launch.
So the reason I wanted to show that to you was because that was day one, right? Everything up until that point was all just in preparation for that launch event. Now, what does the team look like today? I mean, this started out as a kind of a project, an idea, something that Michael Stern passed over to me, and I passed it over to Rick. Rick has been the driving force. And if you'll be with us on Thursday night, we'll have a deep dive training with our CEO, Rick Cotton, with Eric Z. And we're going to talk about international expansion and all kinds of other things. But as you see, our family here at IHub Global has grown actually decades and decades and decades of experience. We got a brand new website that's coming out that will really give you the look and feel for where we're at now in our growth. Let's talk about how to get started. You can get started in IHub Global at no cost, right? Absolutely, positively free. One of the things that we wanted to do was to make sure that anybody anywhere in the world could make an income without having to spend anything. You know, there's just been so many people that have been devastated by the pandemic and so many other things that that was one of the criteria for moving forward. We have two ways that you can obtain a hotspot. Instead of buying them and spending $500, $600, $700, $800, $900 now for a hotspot, you can either choose to lease or rent one for $18 a month, or make a one-time deposit of $400, and that will get you your hotspot. Now we're right in the beginning phases of what we call mass deployment. See, our goal, at least our short-term goal, is to deploy 200,000 units. So we've reached out to several different manufacturers, and we have put purchase orders in with those manufacturers, and we're now starting to get inventory that we're going to get deployed out to everybody who has paid their $99 application fee. That application fee gets you a certificate for an antenna. We discovered that having an antenna drives up the production of the unit, so you get an antenna, 5.8 dBi antenna. We just narrowed it down to one choice because that's really the preferential antenna. And then, when the deployment happens, then you either start paying your $18 a month or your $400 deposit. So we're right at that crossroad right now, just starting to get the first 5,000 units out there. Just like we had that big event in November, we're going to have another big event. It's going to be in March, right? This month, the 19th. So not very far from there. We're going to introduce a number of things, but it's called the marketplace for a reason. We're going to introduce some other products and services that'll help you make more money in addition to having your hotspot, right? The hotspot and growing and referring your network of other affiliates, has a tendency to be a longer term. We've got some products in there that will start generating some immediate income for you. So I'm going to leave you with a quick short video that I love. Eric Worre and I have been friends for about 30 years. I recognized talent when I saw it and met him 30 years ago. I financed, I was brand new to the network marketing space, and Eric and I obviously in the same company. And I financed a video for he and his partner. And that's how we became friends. So that video and that investment in financing that video paid off big time. So Eric has been in my organization and has made me lots and lots and lots of money. So let me just play this for you.
Just ideas. I stopped in, the guys told me they were doing this event. I stopped in and said, you know what? Let me just come in and congratulate you, number one. Innovation, the world is changing, that we're living in a technological world, and you guys are involved in technology and on the bleeding edge, I would say, of technology. And early on, what I will tell you, and is there's different phases, and what I used to tell people when we start new countries or start new things is there's 3 phases. And if I had something to draw on, I would draw this for you, but I'll just tell you. The first phase is what I call the jungle tour. You know, you're on one side of the jungle, and on the other side of the jungle is the prize, and in between is the jungle. And there's snakes, and there's quicksand, and there's animals that will eat you, and there's all kinds of stuff. And the best way to get through that jungle, if the prize is big enough, you get a machete and you start hacking your way through the jungle, maybe go with some friends. And it's not for everybody. The stage that you're in right now is not for everybody. Some people are going to say, well, if I can't get the device, you know, I'm going to wait until I get it. In my opinion, that's a huge mistake. Massive mistake. You got to hack through the jungle, understand quicksand's going to get some, and the mosquitoes are going to get some, and the lions are going to get some, and discouragement's going to get some, and they're going to go back home. But if you pay the price, you can get to the prize, right? So that's phase 1, the phase you're in right now. Phase 2 is what I call a dirt road, a bumpy road. If you've ever lived in the country, when the roads get really bumpy, it's annoying because it's dusty and you can't go as fast as you want to go because, you know, you'll knock the fillings out of your teeth if you try and go as fast as you really want to, but it's faster than going through the jungle. You don't lose as many people. And phase 3 is a superhighway, and it's gorgeous, and there's lights, and there's green grass on the median, and it's amazing. And some people want to wait for the superhighway. I'll just wait till everything's figured out. Just understand this, for every $1 you will earn when you get involved when it's a superhighway, you'll earn $10 when it's a dirt road and it's annoying, and there's challenges. And for every $10 you earn there, you earn $100 if you decide to get involved when it's the jungle, when it's tough, when you don't have the equipment, when you can't keep up with demand, when people are frustrated and everybody is, you know, moaning about the fact that it's not in their country yet, or you don't have all the stuff exactly figured out yet. That's the price you pay. So those of you who are watching online today and those of you who are here in the studio, congratulate yourself for being involved at an early stage and being willing to discipline your disappointment in the journey. Understanding not everybody's going to go, not understanding everybody's not going to be there. If you can get your head around that and manage your expectations properly, there's no limit to how much value you can bring and how much you can create in this season. I promise you, 5 years from today, there are going to be people who would do anything, pay any price to be able to be in this room right now, go back in time, to be watching online today, to go back in time. So I want to congratulate you for your vision, for getting involved early, for being willing to deal with challenges. It's all great. My quick couple thoughts, I'll give you my thoughts about network marketing generally and why.
So that's it, guys. That is welcome to the jungle tour. I love that that analogy that Eric uses, because it's like that, right? In the very beginning, there's a lot of things that happen that you expect things to happen differently. And unfortunately, you know, in business, just stuff happens. We are going to have, you notice that I didn't talk anything about how we make money. That's going to come tomorrow night, right? Tuesday night, we do a getting started training on this very same platform, on this very same Zoom room. So come and join us. We'll go over what you need to do in order to get your business going. If you're brand new, definitely you need to be there. And then we'll go over how we make money, right? What the plan is and what that looks like moving forward. But you know, the most important thing right now is to get started, right? Get signed up, get into our support center, look at everything, go through the process. It's a very simple process, and we're going to continue to make it more and more simplified as we move forward. Get registered for the March 19th event, because you definitely want to have a front row seat. Although we're not going to run out of tickets, I think we can broadcast to 200,000 people. So if we run out of tickets, then we broke Eric's system. So so with that, I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to go over to my buddy Michael. And Michael, number one, let me just say this: thanks for introducing me to Helium. And thanks for introducing me to these damn hotspots. And thanks for giving me the opportunity to work 15 hours a day. So
I knew you were getting bored.
Yeah. I was getting bored. So
Just, you know, too much fun. You needed to have something to sink your teeth into. So
exactly, you're exactly right. So. Well, Michael, anything else that you can add to what we just covered?
No, I think it was really a great perspective to understand that we truly are in the point of catching this enormous wave that, as you were alluding to, we don't even know exactly how that wave is really going to grow over time, what this incredible network that Helium is putting together, that we're putting together as part of this Helium community, what that's actually going to be doing over the years. I mean, you're absolutely right. We're focusing on IoT, but that network will have the ability for doing all kinds of amazing things. So
yeah,
me,
amen to that. And I mean, you know, things we haven't even thought about. I mean, maybe
exactly.
Maybe they've thought about it, right?
But even then, that's the way this sort of thing works. So as I was looking at this project, I was just amazed that here we are with the situation where we're going in and we're helping to build this infrastructure wherever we're able to do it, whatever country we're able to do it in. This infrastructure benefits the communities that the infrastructure is in, the people that are participating in it. I've never seen anything where it was total win-win for everybody involved. I mean, completely different than anything I've ever seen over my years in home-based businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. So tomorrow night, guys, 9 p.m. East Coast time, we do a getting started training. We'll go over a number of things. We'll be able to take some questions, and then on Wednesday, we'll do another business overview. And then on Thursday, we have a deep dive training. Rick Cotton will be here, and we're going to talk about international expansion, specifically for Canada and for the EU. We might mix in some other countries there, not quite sure, but definitely Canada and the EU. Now, Michael, should we mention that we've got a special Canada call?
No, I think we should. For those of you in Canada that consider yourself to be visionaries and a team leader, someone that's really seeing the Helium network being built around the world, and particularly in Canada, we've got a special opportunity coming up for those of you that want to be the way showers on this initial expansion thrust into Canada before it's going to be for everybody to be able to participate in. And we've got a call planned on Wednesday night. that we want to invite you to if you're interested in finding the details about that. Chuck, do you want to give them that information on this call? We've never really done anything like this on a regular call, but really there's no reason not to for people that are interested.
Of course, yeah. So it's going to be right here on this Zoom at 8 p.m. East Coast time. So before our 9 o'clock call. It's not going to be very long. It might be 15, 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes tops, because we've got a 9 o'clock call, our standard 9 o'clock Zoom on Wednesday night. So if you know anybody in Canada who fits that profile, by all means, invite them, and
absolutely. If you've got people on your team in Canada, this is their wake-up call.
Right. Yeah. Get them on that Zoom. Rick's going to be there, Michael and myself, obviously. I don't know who else is going to show up there, but so this will be kind of the start of the Canadian launch. So with that, guys, hey, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Michael, thanks for all the stuff that you do. And John, obviously, thanks for all the stuff that you do in the background, keeping us all looking good. John Krim is one of the architects of all the good stuff that happens. And so, so with that, God bless everybody. Thanks for being here this evening, and we will see you all tomorrow night, Tuesday, and you can all say good night. I just unmuted everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
All right, go Canada.
Everybody.
Good night. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Have a good
See you,
one.
Wes. See you tomorrow.
Thanks for that presentation. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night, Michael and Chuck.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys. Adios. Sayonara.
Good night, all. See you tomorrow.
Au revoir.
See ya. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Richard.